What's up, guys? So, a while back last year, I experimented with Headway, and I bought a completed used Headway set from somebody else who bought a used Headway, uh, you know, accumulation and turned it into a bank. And they used it for a while, and I bought it from them, and then that's where things went a bit sideways. So I'm going to explain exactly why they went sideways. First of all, Headway is a very inexpensive way to get into lithium chemistries, but it's kind of ironic. It has all the right ingredients to being a problem, and here's why. Okay, these Headway cells, you can get them relatively inexpensive, but they have two limitations. One, they do not like to be extremely cold. So if you get them down around the zero mark and then you go to throwing high voltage to them in an area of, high 14s, 15 volts, they basically just catch on fire. Now, here's the problem. That's the problem, but here's the reason I say it's a recipe for disaster. Because most of your people that are going to get into Headway cells are going to be inexperienced, new to the field, economy, budget minded people that just want more storage. And those are the exact people that you really don't want messing with something that has some characteristics that are possibly going to cause issues. So, I mean, just think about it. There's two things you can't do. You can't charge them up around 15 volts. That makes them start venting and go bad. And then you can't charge them quickly while they're very cold. So you take some poor guy like myself and puts these things in his vehicle and thinks, well, I'll just run them. I'm good, they're safe to charge at 14.6, 14.8, 14.9, whatever. I'm good. I'm charging at 14.4. I think, okay, that's fine and dandy. Everything's good. Well, the problem is I was charging higher than that on some occasions, as high as 15 and 15.1 volts. And it's funny because I wasn't charging like that before I put the Headway cells in there, but then my voltage started getting much higher on my charging system. I did not realize this was a problem at the time. I absolutely did not have any idea this was a problem. So, come wintertime, the vehicle had set up and I was out driving my truck. I got sick, cancer, and my vehicle was parked for a long time there during the winter. And the batteries drained down pretty low. And all the while that year, I'd been getting different cells that were leaking and seeping a little bit, a little fluid on top of them, And I thought that was because I had damaged the cells physically by maybe using hardware that was slightly too long, causing the cells to be ruptured or whatnot. So I kept, poking at them, trying to figure out if I was doing something wrong. Well, it turns out that I was, but it wasn't what I thought. I was overcharging them. And so the cells were getting overcharged all year, making them leak, making them be all angry. And then come the winter when it was setting up for, for a couple months without getting started. And the cells, some of them were damaged because of me overcharging them. And those damaged cells were pulling voltage from everything else and caused the whole thing to run down. So I went out there it was snow. I went out there to move my truck so that snowplow dude could be able to get into the parking lot over there where I was parked and be able to snowplow. I didn't want to cause any issues there. And the truck wouldn't start. So I got my wife's car and kicked it off with the booster cables and fired it right up. Well, as soon as that happened, now you got these ice cold Headway cells and you got this alternator that says, hey, we need lots of power. So it starts shooting out 15 volts to the whole system. And, well, there was a fire inside the Tahoe. a lot of fire. And yeah, I noticed it because of the heat. My sense of smell is gone, so I have no sense of smell anymore. And yeah, right over there is where I was parked at too, by the way. Right over there where you see me at now, I was parked right there. And in fact, this video was shot before the fire. So I was parked over there, and I didn't smell it because my sense of smell is broken. So I felt the heat from the fire hit me in the back of the head. And I turned around and I was like, holy crap, because it was up to the ceiling. I mean, it was blazing in there. Scared the crap out of me. Now, whenever I pulled the Tahoe around to the back, I was in the process of parking it right because it was just a 5-second drive around the back of the house. And I got out, jumped out, I started grabbing snow and throwing snow in there because it's all I had. I didn't have an extinguisher, I didn't have anything like that. So I threw a whole bunch of snow in there and got the fire died down, and I got my battery cable cutters and I started snipping wires, cutting wires, and I finally had the thing cut loose. And I pulled it out, and I threw it in the snow. Now, the thing is, what it went wrong was multiple things, but these are all things that the average person wouldn't really think about. You don't think about a battery not being able to be charged fast when it's cold. You don't think about a battery, a different battery, especially a battery like lithium, not being able to handle 15 volts. You don't think about that. Those are just things that you don't really think about. And when those things all add up together and you put it in the right circumstances, the thing will just literally catch on fire. And see, the problem I have with the Headway now is the person that wants that stuff, the person that wants to use it, the person that's going to buy that is going to be a person who doesn't really know what the heck they're doing. They're going to be starting off with something new, getting what they can afford. They may have an upgraded alternator. They may have done some things to upgrade their charging system. And they may be having to drive this thing all the time because it's their daily car. They don't have the benefit of having multiple cars. So this is the person that's going to be buying this Headway. And then what happens? What happens, guys? It's the middle of the winter time. Here's the scenario, right? Guy's getting up in the morning to go to work. It's the middle of the winter time. He goes out to his car, starts his car up. It's freezing cold, so he goes back in the house to let his car warm up. He's in there kissing the wife goodbye, fixing his coffee. And then, all of a sudden he smells smoke and looks out, and his whole car's on fire and the damn driveway burning his house down. How easy would that scenario be to happen? And there's the battery. That's after I chunked it a few days later when the snow had melted. It's hideous. Now, the question is, can you get away with running this stuff? Sure, no problem. It's really not hard to run it safely. You just don't charge it, run it at a normal car audio or normal car voltage. And, if it's wintertime, you take it out, or whatever, or don't use it at all. If you know what not to do, then you can do it safely. But still, it's something that's going to kill somebody if it hasn't already. It scares the heck out of me thinking about it, what could happen to somebody. I had a fairly good idea what I was doing when I was messing with this stuff. And that could have went so much differently. It could have went so badly. I just had no idea, and I didn't do anything that any normal person wouldn't have done. Anyway, guys, this video is purely here as a public service announcement. If you're going to mess with Headway, understand that there are risks. They're easily mitigated. You just don't want to combine these things together. Don't charge them over 15 volts. Don't charge them over 14.5 volts. And when it comes wintertime, just take the thing out and put it inside the house. Don't even have it in your car. When it's starting to get down to where it's getting, close to freezing and stuff, just take them out and put them in your house. Don't have them in the car. Don't have them on any kind of charger. Just set them in there in a nice warm house where they can be nice and safe. And you can bring them back up in the spring, and everything will be fine and dandy. Just be careful, because doing a few simple things together can cause devastation in your life with these things. So keep in mind that they are potentially very dangerous. As long as you do the right things and you're not doing wrong, you're fine, but they are very dangerous if you do the wrong thing. Understand that. That's all I want to do, is communicate how to do it right so that you don't run into problems. And when it comes to the lithium stuff, if you don't know what you're doing, and even if you've researched it, ask tons of questions from people that run the stuff regularly that you know. Talk to them. Find out what you need to do. Find out what you need to know. Because, the technology is great, and it can deliver a lot of amazing performance, and there's not a battery out there that can compete with most of the lithium stuff. But at the same time, its potential for life-ending, life-changing, and destructive power is also very significant. So it is to be treated with care and concern. And that's all I'm saying. Anyway, guys, if you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button and leave me some comments. And if you're one of those folks that are going to be all angry because I'm saying headways are dangerous, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that your life has gone that way. You can go be angry, and I'll just be glad that I don't have it in my vehicle anymore. That's all I'm saying. Guys, have a good one. Peace.